for today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another workshop in the organization of Science and Technology Park Čačak. Today we have partnered up with Israeli embassy in Serbia, and I want to begin by saying thanks to them and saying thanks to our lecturer today, Moshe. I want to begin with a brief description of Science and Technology Park Čačak to just give you an overlook of who we are and what we do in like 2 minutes, and then I would like to give floor to Moshe. So Science and Technology Park Čačak, it was founded in 2011. And it was established to enable collaboration between industry, science, and research through the development of new ideas, with goal to increase the competitiveness of the regional economy. We provide the infrastructure management and technical assistance to innovative startup businesses, enabling them to further grow and develop through professional support and technology transfer from academic and research sector. We have 2 locations in Čačak. The one that's in the industrial zone and the one that's in the city center. The location in center is established as a sort of entry stage for people with innovative ideas, where they go through like a pre-seed phase, the earliest actually part of their development, and when they mature, they move on to the part in the industrial area. So that would be like a brief overview of STP Čačak. I see a lot of familiar faces here that I think already know as much. And for everyone new, I would invite you to follow us on social media, to check out our website where you can find everything in details. And if you have any questions for us, feel free to write us, to call us, to come and visit us, and we will gladly answer any doubts you have. So without further ado, I would once again like to thank Moshe for his time, and I would like to give him floor.
Hey, thank you, David. Hello, everyone. My name is Moshe, and I'm speaking with you from Tel Aviv. So I know you are all busy, but I would appreciate if you can open your cameras just for a minute or two, that I will be able to see you guys. I don't care if you're driving or if you're in the park or if you're in the restroom. I don't really care. I just want to get to know you a bit better. So really, don't be shy. All good. Nice. Yeah. Wait another minute for everyone. I really want to see your faces. So, super. Hey, Rustico, that's how I say your name? Yeah, wave there and stop. Perfect, great. Let's see who else. Yelena, Jovan. Come on, guys, I'm waiting for you. Don't be shy. I see that you are shy, and that's not the purpose of this lecture. You can be shy in the university or in other sessions. With me, I really want to get to know each one of you because I'm coming to Serbia in a few weeks, and I hope to meet some of you. Oh, Yelena, nice. Perfect, guys. So don't be shy. Actually, it's more fun for me, and I think it's going to be more fun for you when I'm going to see your faces. And basically, I think we can start now. David, if you can. Sally, no worries that you don't have a camera. I'm just marked your name. Perfect. All right. So let's start. And can you see my screen? All good? Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
So my name is Moshe. I'm a managing partner in Aristagora. Aristagora, it's early stage fund based out of Israel. But the beauty of it that we are not only Israelis, all my investors are Japanese from Japan. This is my second fund. My first fund called Krypton from Superman, not from cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to explain you a lot what it means to have another fund and things like that. So that's my second fund. All our investors are from Japan. And a little bit about my background. Born and raised in Israel. I was Israeli national champion in squash. I don't know if you know what it is. You can have time to Google it. It's like a tennis in a room. So since I was a very young, I remember myself being an athlete, practicing, working out 3 times a day at least. Since after that, I'm a Yale University graduate. I went and studied in the US. I was investment banker in Bank of America. And after that, I had my own startup, which I sold to the Belizean government. I moved to live in Central America, in Belize. I sold it to the Belizean government and to a business person there. After that, I ran foreign exchange trading group, 300 employees, 6 branches all over the world, I sold it about in 2013. I sold my share, and then I started my first VC, and today I'm in my second VC. So you probably ask yourself, how do I fucking manage to do that? And how you can do it out of Serbia. And I can tell you that if I manage to do that out of Israel, you can do it. Each one of you can actually do that as well out of Serbia. And the purpose of this meeting is not to have a lecture where you hear only about theory. I'm sure that you have a lot of it in the university. The purpose of this meeting is to let you ask questions, to let you communicate and ask all the things that you're not gonna ask during a formal presentation. All right. So in order to warm up a bit, just that you know, we have no game plan. I'm sure that you were ready to have a lot of slides and to sit down in your apartment and just listen. So no. So before we start, I want to see who's the first brave person here on this slide and that has any question. Someone that wants to know something or believes that I can help him to know something in this session. Who is the first brave one? Raise his hand, speak, shout. Oh, I see that you are gonna be shy today. Okay, so you know, I see, and I was ready for that. I actually was super ready for that, and I'll tell you something. I call it the chutzpah metrics. I give lectures all over the world. I give in normal year, I give about 100 lectures a year. And every place I go, I try to put and map the country along 2 verticals, which I call the chutzpah. Chutzpah, it's Hebrew it's a word in Hebrew. And basically, I'm trying to put countries who are the people who like to confront versus avoid confrontation, and people that are emotionally expressive or emotionally unexpressive. So when I speak in Japan, everybody's quiet, say nothing, never argue, say with their heads. And along the way, all the top in Israel, everyone has his opinion. Everyone don't care that he's gonna shout at you and gonna say that you are stupid. But in the same times, in the same sentence, he's gonna say that I love you. So I'm not afraid to say that I love each one of you. And I promised you that by the end of the lecture, we're gonna be good friends. So I promise you that each one of you can have my phone number, my email, or any question or any assistance that need it, you can definitely contact me and approach me. So now let me start again. Who is brave, who has chutzpah and wants to ask a question or has something to say before we start?
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes.
Zatvori vrata, molim. Just to say hello to you and to the other webinar attendees. My name is Božidar. I am living in Montenegro, and just to say hello once again and to send you an invite if you are going to come to Montenegro. I live in Kotor. I have some ideas about digital nomads who are growing population of tourists coming to this area of Europe, and you know everything about that, of course. And we have some idea to how to involve our country to welcoming this kind of tourists. That is all for now. I don't want to take your time.
First of all, Božo, thank you so much. I promise that I'm going to come to Montenegro, but only with one condition. If you promise to take me out to drink a beer, and do you have Montenegro? How do you say Montenegrin? Montenegrian? How do you say?
We say Montenegrian. Montenegrian.
Do you have any Montenegrin beer?
Yes. We have a very good beer that is called Nikšićko pivo. All my friends from Serbia knows that for sure. I'm pretty sure of that. So, but we have a lot of beers here. If you are
because in Belgrade I only drink rakia, so anything else.
Okay, I understand. I understand your kind of people. So you will be very lucky if you are. We will be very lucky if you come here to drink beers, and we have rakia, of course.
Perfect. All right, so we can now start. We can officially start. Okay, so you probably ask yourself, how someone from Israel started a VC. You don't know what's a VC. Who knows what's a VC? What's a venture capital? Who knows? Raise his hand. Say that he knows what it means to be involved. Philip knows. David. Other people knows. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Nicola knows. Okay. So I'm going to speak a little bit later on what it means to have a VC and what it means to be an investor and how it feels and what we do and things like why you as entrepreneurs or as young founders, what you need to be prepared and things like that. So we're going to touch a lot of those things. But I think the number one lesson, okay, that I've learned is that no matter what you do, you go into a room, make sure that people remember you. Okay, so you probably, who knows what the meaning the word Aristagora, which is the name of my VC. I promise you nobody knows. Aristagora, it's actually a combination of Aristos and Agora, which is the best in the market. Okay, so I promise you that in 5 years from now, you're not going to remember anything from this lecture, but the only thing that you're going to remember is this VC Israeli related and something about market and Japan and things like that. But why I'm telling it to you? Okay? Because you are dealing in today's world, no matter what you do, no matter if you have an idea or you have a startup or you have a business idea, if you're gonna open a car wash or if you're gonna create a technology company, sometimes small things that you do are gonna be the things that gonna differentiate and gonna make you be successful or not. Okay, and sometimes things like names or if you are brave enough to open your camera and to say hello, or if you're not afraid to say your opinion, those sometimes small things like that can differentiate you and make you successful and make you better or with better idea or better startup than the rest of the group. So as I said, I'm a Yale University graduate. After my military service in Israel, which we served for 3 years in the military, I went to and I studied abroad. And after spending my time there, I realized that the best place is my home, the place I live in. So I know in Serbia, a lot of people, a lot of young people leave the country, but eventually you're gonna come back, okay? And my advice to you, I know that you're all now growing up and say that there are not a lot of opportunities locally, or the door, you know, there is a glass ceiling for success. I can tell you that I've been tens of times in Serbia, and I invested in companies in Serbia, and there are a lot of local opportunities. The difference is that you need to decide if you want to be successful locally and you wanna do things or not. Okay, instead of complaining and saying, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, I can tell you that I personally invest in companies in Serbia. So maybe one day, maybe after this presentation, I personally gonna invest in one of your ideas or one of your startups. Okay, we good so far? We alive? Yes. Nicola is totally ready. Fine. So we spoke about the chutzpah metrics, but I want by show of hands, and really that's the last time that I'm pushing you hard. Who has a startup company or who wants to start his own company? Say I, raise your hands, write in the chat. Peter wants. Peter, yeah, Vladimir there. Come on, guys. Dusan wants. Great. Okay, the rest, you don't want to have any companies. You want to work for a corporate. You want to work for Google Serbia, right? No? Yes? Maybe? Pretty much. Yeah. Nicola, what you want? What's your dream, Nicola?
To start my own company. Hello, Moshe.
Hello. What kind of company you want to start?
Something what has related with construction.
Construction. So
Yeah.
Physical construction company that people gonna come to you and do what?
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. So let me during the presentation, I'm going to do a lot of comparisons between Israel and Serbia, because I think the countries are very, very similar. Okay, we both countries were under wars for a long time. We are not large populations, but we at the same time we are hardworking people, and we really want to strive and do well in life. So I think that a lot of things are very similar between the countries. But when you speak with Israel, when Israel asks this question, who has a startup company in a room of 100 people, I see 350 hands in the air. Everyone in Israel, everyone in the country has a startup, or wants to have a startup, or want to have his own operation. And sometimes people have more than one idea or three ideas, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's great, but sometimes it's also a bad thing to have, because you are not focused on what you want to do. And as an investor, sometimes we don't know who should we approach. Okay, so. And what does it mean for an investor to approach a startup? What does it mean to approach a company? How do we evaluate it, and what we're looking for? Okay. So by raise of hands, who needs an investment? Who thinks that he needs money, okay, in order to start his idea, in order to start his business? Nicola?
All of them.
All of them, everyone. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, but it will be hard for me to say your name. So if I'm going to do a mistake, let me know. Irshtijan?
Yeah, something like that. Christian.
No, I want to learn. How do you say your name?
Christian.
Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a pronunciation. Perfect. So sorry for butchering your name.
It's all right.
But everyone butchers my name as well. So we are even. So Christian, tell me why you need money for? What you gonna do?
So my idea is to start a business in kind of like renting rooms for students, but it's not in Serbia though. It's in Rochester, US, because like they're like kind of like houses are not very expensive, and I was thinking of like buying a few next to the campus and then just like renting to the students.
Okay, do you live there, or where do you live now?
I studied there. I'm from Serbia. Yeah, I'm from
So now
Serbia.
you live. Oh, so you studied there in Rochester, and you moved back to Serbia, and now you're thinking about setting up an
So
operation.
I'm still there, located. I'm just like from Serbia, and currently I am because of coronavirus here in Serbia. But like, yeah,
Okay, so
it's a bit different.
perfect. So I actually I really love this example, and if okay with you, we're gonna use it for throughout the presentation. But in order to do that, can you give me some numbers? Let's say how much money you need in order to buy few apartments in Rochester in order to rent them to students.
Let's put like 100,000 for like let's say one apartment, 100,000. Yeah.
One apartment, 100,000, but you know we said that you need to think big. So you need $1 million. You need $1 million in order to buy 10 apartments. Why do you care? I put the money in, right?
Yeah.
So I put money, you buy 10 apartments in Rochester, and how much money we're gonna pay? How much money students gonna pay us?
So it's per month. One student can pay up to 500.
$6,000 annually, right?
How much? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
$500 monthly, $6,000 annually for 1 year.
Yeah, for one. Yeah, and in an apartment, on average, can have like 3 students in it.
Oh, so fine. So we
It's like
are
$15,000.
$15,000 per year, and
that's like without taking taxes and like utilities out of it. So let's say 12, just like for
10.
10.
Okay, because I'm stupid, I can't really calculate fast. So let's say $10,000. That's what we're gonna make for each apartment. That cost us $100,000, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So let's continue. Let's leave this idea aside. Who else wants to join us this venture? Who else wants to invest money in Christian and my idea? Who wants there? Fine. Nice. Okay. So let's continue. So I want you to meet John. John was actually my boss in Bank of America. He considers and he looks like, you know, typical investor, right? When you think about investor, how he's gonna look like, tie, right? American tie, suit, nice gel in the air. Okay, everything fine. Who actually met with investors in his past? Who had a meeting with someone that wanted to invest in his company? Nicola, tell us a bit. How was the experience, and who was it? Was it someone investor, professional investor?
I didn't have an investor in my company, but I had a lot of meetings with investors in my previous work. So in this line, I had a lot of meetings with them.
Okay, so and how was the feeling when you sit with those investors? Tell me about the experience. Was it, you know, how did they look like happy people that love ideas, or there were people that actually trying to criticize the entrepreneurs most of the time?
They were people who want results.
Want results, strict, tough.
Yeah. First of all, the one I was cooperating with, they want results. They want to know how fast their money will
get their investment fast.
How fast the investment will earn them money. So in this,
they want to put money today and want to get their money back tomorrow, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much in a year, too.
In a year or two. Okay.
Yeah.
So the description of what you said, this is very typical to kind of investors that we're going to speak in a minute, what kind of investors you have and what they're looking for, okay? But this is John. You represent the old investment, let's say, layer of startup technology investors in the world. Today's world, okay, this generation is passing and a new generation comes in. And I think that I'm considered as someone from the newer generation. Okay, but so who wants money from me? David, you don't want money? I'm dividing money in the end of the conversation. I'm sending checks to everyone. Whoever raises his hand, I send him a check. Marco, welcome. What's going on, Marco? Nice. Okay, so I think I'm warm. So we're enough with that suit. And now we can start discussing about real investments of what we are doing. Okay, so let me, there are a lot of topics for discussions, but they're a bit boring, so I'm not going to spend time. You guys send me some questions before the lecture, and some of them we're going to touch, some of them we're going to touch more, some of them we're going to touch less. Okay. I've been asked that someone that has an idea what is doing next. Was asked if the whole COVID situation damaged your opportunity to have success with your idea. People ask how they reach clients, collecting financial funds, which is fundraising, and main skills and how to grow a good startup and how to grow a company. Okay, so those are some topics that I had. You can ask some questions throughout the presentation and we're gonna approach them. All of those topics I'm gonna touch in the next few slides, so no worries. And if we have someone who wants to identify himself who asked one of those questions, let me know, okay? So in order for you to understand the basic of investments and the basic of building a business, before thinking about your idea, you need to think what the other side is looking for, okay? Nicolas said that he met investors that want to get the money within a year, okay? But I'm a VC person. I'm someone who called from venture capital. Do you know how venture capital are doing their money? How I actually do my money and what I promise to my investors? Who knows? Whoever knows gets a beer from Tel Aviv. Send me his address. I'm sending him beers from Tel Aviv after the lecture. Who's brave? Christian, you're brave. Who else? I want people that do not speak. People that hiding there in the lecture. 5 years. Milos said that 5 years. 5 years out. Where's Milos? Come on, Milos. Show us your face. Don't be afraid. 2. Milos, where's Milos? He's hiding there. Here you
Hello.
Go. Hello, Milos. Oh, we're waiting for you. So you said 5 years. I asked how I make my money, and your answer was 5 years.
Yeah, you said what I said to my investors. That was the idea or the plan that you set in front of them. So would you invest if you make a ROI in 5 years? That's my guess. Like,
that's okay. No,
maybe I'm wrong.
Fine. So you basically saying that in VC world, what I promised to investors to bring the money and pay them back in 5 years, right?
My assumption.
The base, how much more? Let's say they invest $1 million. How much more I need to give them, or only the investment?
No. They need to have some share profits at the end.
What's share profit? What's the level? If you were one of their investors, how much money you need?
15-20%.
15% for the whole time, or for 1 year? Or
no, like first of all, you need to get the full return, and then you get about like 15-20% markup at the end. No?
So let's give an example. Let's say that someone invests
$1 million.
$100,000. In the end, they need to pay him 115, right? $1,000.
For example, yeah.
For example, okay.
120.
120. Okay, let's be generous.
Let's be generous. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Let's pay more. Come on, let's pay more. All right. So let me explain you a bit more how it's working for VCs. Okay, and then the VC example gonna be a benchmark for other types of investors. Okay, but try to bear with me. I'm telling you, 90% of the entrepreneurs around the world don't know how VCs make money. They don't know what's my business model and I'm actually generate money. Okay,
Right.
So let's start from basics. Okay, let's take a fund, which is relatively big in Israeli size, small in US size. I go to investors and I go to a lot of them and I say, guys, bring me right, trust me. I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I don't know what, I can bring you nice return, invest, and then I collect $200 million. Okay, let's say that I managed to convince them to bring me their money, what I promised them. In VC world, venture capital, I promised to triple their money, or I can promise, but I'm saying that the average target of what we are looking for is to triple their money within 10 years, okay? So which means in 10 years from now, I need to pay back to investors 3 times more on their money, okay? $600,000, okay? 10 years, that's the average, okay? Sorry, depends. If it was VC world till, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, it was about 7 years to return them 3 times more. Today, the benchmark is about 10 years, 7 to 10 years. Okay, depends. But that's pretty much the average. But let's now think about what else. I take this money and I need to put it in companies, in ideas, right? In Nicola idea, I need to put in Nicola and Christian ideas. Now I'm gonna put $1 million each in each one of them. And how much, and then I get shares, I get equity in their idea. Usually a VC takes about 20 to 30%. Okay, why only to 20 to 30%? Because I'm not running businesses. I'm not a partner. Okay, the more aggressive I am, the more aggressive the investor is gonna ask more shares. Okay, so maybe someone gonna come to you and say, yeah, I'm gonna put $1 million, but give me 90%. Okay, what's going to happen if you're going to give him the 90% of the business? You're going to lose interest, right? Because you're not going to be the owner anymore. You're going to be pretty much kind of an employee with nice shares in the company, okay? The more shares the investor takes, the likelihood for you to leave when they're going to be a hard time is higher, okay? And a lot of investors don't understand it, okay? When I was young investor, I used to take a lot of shares in every company. But then I found myself running companies by myself, okay? I need to give our investors, and this is something you need to explain to investors who come to you and say, hey, Milos, take $1 million, but give me 90% of the business. They need to understand that they need to keep you with large interest in order to work 24/7 from morning till night, okay? So for this example, let's say I take about 20 to 30% in those companies that I invested in. It means that once I sell those companies, they need to pay, I take this company and that I put money in, I need to, in order to bring $600 million, I need to sell them for $3 billion exit, right? Because I have 20% in a company, 20 to 30%. So usually when I sell them, not all the 3 billion, not only the money comes to me, only a small share comes to me, okay? So it's a full cycle. The money that I take from the investors, 200. I need to pay them 600, the amount of shares that I take in the company, and then those companies need to get sold, okay? So if you don't understand that there is a full cycle, it's not about only momentarily or a decision that I take in one moment, okay? It's an all picture that you need to think when you are building a business is how much money you take from an investor and what he needs to show to his investor or to himself, okay? If he needs the return of, like Nicola said, in a 1 year, an X%, or like Christian said, 20% in 5 years, or like Moshe said in his VC, 3 times more, 3 times in 7 years, it's gonna change dramatically. Who are the people that you're gonna speak with? What business model they like? So not every investor is likely to invest in every idea, okay? So that's the #1 rule that, you know, during the presentation, you're gonna have some slides that are important, in my opinion. Those slides gonna have the sushi symbol here in the corner. Those are the only slides that I recommend you to remember. when you speak with an investor, get to know his business model. If you don't know his business model, don't start speaking with anyone, okay? Because you can destroy the whole conversation, not because you don't have an amazing idea, not because you are a good people, only because the interests of both sides are not matched, okay? It's like a date, okay? When you invite someone for a date, okay, you need to make sure the interests are pretty much straightforward, right? If you meet someone that wants to get married, but you are 19 years old and the only thing you want to do is to have fun, when you go out a date, it's a disaster, right? You're not matching your interests. But in the same time, if you are, I don't know, 29 and you are already wants to get married and the date that you are with wants to get married, your interests are matched, okay? So remember that, matching interests. Any questions about that? No? Good? Yeah, no, maybe? All right. So
sorry, just to be clear, like what was the main difference between, like, when you were describing the business model, the main difference between the angel investors, Shark Tank or something like that is that with venture capital you are gathering funds from multiple resources or multiple investors and everything?
it's a perfect question, and in 2 slides I'm gonna answer on
okay
that.
Sorry, thank you.
Perfect. So, but let's think about that for a moment. I'm going to give you more information that nobody knows, okay? Internal information from the industry. How many VCs around the world manage to triple money to their investors, okay? How many percentage-wise? Just right, I don't know, say, shout.
5%. 10.
Peter said 5%. Who says 50%?
5%.
Peter said 5, all right, who else? 10%. Branko said 10% of VCs. David 25, 10. Who give me 60%? For the first, for the second, for the third. Sold.
Sold.
No. Sold. All right. So let's see. Actually, you were right. Okay. Marco, 30%. Almost. You're the winning. You are the winner. I think now you have the highest. Who think more than 30%? Not there yet. All right. So actually, only 5% of VCs around the world manage to triple money to their investors, right? So if we think about it for a second, it's crazy. Let's think that you're taking your car to the garage and you ask the mechanic guy and you ask him to repair your car and he comes to you and say, 5% that I'm going to fix it. What you going to do? Reverse and run away from the mechanic, right? And actually in VCs, it's different. A lot of people invest in VCs, and we're going to discuss in a second why. And it's related also to the question that you asked, that Milos asked, okay? But let's think about it for a moment, about the VCs that manage to do that. How do you think their portfolio look like? How do you think that their portfolio, their companies, they look like? Do you think that they had many small success stories? Or do you think that they had one super crazy investment with 1 or 2 investment that did well? Who think the first one? Did you understand my question? The portfolio of those.
Second one.
Second. Who think the second one? Raise his hand. All right. Who think the first one? You're right. Actually, you're right. The VCs that manage to triple money to their investors are the ones that adds what we call unicorns. Companies that did super extremely well, crazy well. And what it means. Do you know what's the chance of a company to become a unicorn, to be more than $1 billion? 1%. Okay. So if we think about it, even less than 1% depends on the market. So it's basically even pretty much same chances like winning a lottery ticket or a scratch card, depends on which one you buy. But if we think about it for a moment, we as a VC people, we know that it doesn't really matter. The chances for us to build such a portfolio is pretty low, okay? And what we do, we try to do things in order to save and to do it well. okay? And this is what we call venture capital, because we are kind of investors that take risk, okay? We are not gonna invest in companies that just gonna do and return the cash with 2%. We need companies that gonna do 100 times more on our money. Why? Because the rest of the companies that we're gonna invest in are gonna lose, okay? So I know I threw a lot of information, and you probably ask yourself why I'm telling you all of those stories, because I think that's, in a nutshell, the business 101 lecture, or the most important thing when you are building a business or you are raising money, okay? It's the combination of the amount of money you need, the potential in the business, and who are the people that you're gonna invest. And now, in order for us to understand those investment entities, there are a lot of investment entities around the world, okay? And also in Serbia. It starts with what we call angel investors, people that are rich, okay, that want to do well, okay? They want to make profit. And it goes all the way down to VC, okay? And don't worry, we can send a presentation afterwards. You don't need to remember. But the more you go down the line, it means that we are crazy people and we look for more crazy ideas that's gonna be $1 billion company. The more you go up here, okay, the chances, the story that you need to tell is more down to earth. Okay, so let's do an exercise. If I have a car wash business, who should I go to? Should I go to a venture capital or should I go to angel investor?
Angel investor.
Right, Christian, angel investor, okay? But let's say now that Nicola has an idea that he developed a concrete that he can create from air and water and a special powder that he managed to find. And he thinks that this one can be a concrete that can build a building, I don't know, in the cost of 10% of the actual cost of a real building of a project. Then where he's gonna go? More toward there, right? The crazier the idea, or the less likely this idea to do well, or to be successful, that you need to go down the line, okay? So, Milos, for your question, does it answer your question? Okay. Now,
Yeah, thank you.
Now that's the idea. Now let's take the return, right? The return, the less crazy the idea, okay? It means that it's more down to earth return structure needed, okay? So angel investor, he wants to be more safe. He wants to return his money within a year. He doesn't really care if he's gonna have 10% or 5%. He wants to stay the owner of the business, okay, in relatively lower risk, okay? The more Christian idea for 20% within 5 years or a year or 2 years is more going into hedge funds or into private equities, okay? The more down the line, the crazier idea, the higher the return, okay? We good? Perfect. Now, the other side of it is what kind of company you have, okay? Just a second. Okay. The more crazy you are, the more idea which is more technological, less likely to succeed. It's called a startup. If you are a car wash company, you are a company, okay? Basically, the more you go down is more, it's going the same line with VC, right? So I know you hear the word startup a lot of the time. It's okay, but not every company is a startup, and not every startup is a company, okay? And I'm gonna send you all the terminology now. Besides of those titles, every project can be in different stages, okay? It can be a seed, which means first money only on idea and presentation. In the other end, it can be initial revenue. It can be growth the more structured business, the more proven record it has, the money that it needs is different money. Okay, so you have again this triangle of the stage, the risk, and the life cycle point of a business. Okay, so with this slide, I promised you I have no more terminology to remember. No more we're not in the university. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so before, I don't know who asked before, and you asked how to get money. Okay, and who asked there in one of the questions that we had before, you asked how to get money. And in order for me to answer that, I want you to give me an example how you think you should raise money. Who is brave enough to say how you think?
Buy you a beer and you give him money.
Who said that?
Me.
Peter, first of all, you are 50% brave because you were with camera turned off. Oh, now you're getting there, okay? So that's thinking out of the box. But do you really think that I invest only based on a beer? Not really, but it's a good start. But it's a super good start. And let's put a joke aside. Most of the companies and most of the people that do not raise money, it's not always because of their idea. It's not always because of what they do. It's mostly starts and ends because of the person himself, okay? The more brave you are, the more you don't care about what people tell you, the more likely you are to succeed in raising money. I can tell you that I personally, in the last 2 years, and I don't know who knows me before for my previous fund, in the last 2 years, after finishing my first VC, I basically went under the radar, and the only thing I did was flying to Japan back and forth and opening in every window or every door that was out there, okay? I was not shy. I was not afraid to hear no. And everyone who told me no, I came back again a month later, and a month later, and a month later. And I can tell you that 50% of my investors in the fund are people who told me no in the beginning, okay? So I know it's strange, but again, I know that I'm giving the dating example, but think about it, that if you want to date with someone and she tells you no, or he tells you no, maybe in the first time you're gonna tell no, and then you say again and again and again, and then maybe you convince them to go out for a beer, okay? Same thing, the same thing that you are not afraid in life, also in business, okay? I know that people are afraid to hear no, but if you can hear a no, and you can ask right after why no, and to try to learn from this no, and to get better. The more you're gonna take it as less personal, the more likely you are to get a yes afterwards. Okay, good.
As David Meltzer said, you're just a finite amount of no's away from a yes.
Sorry, say again.
No, I don't know if anyone follows the David Meltzer. As he said, you are a finite, for example, 27 no's away from a yes. Look, and every time you think about no in that way, imagine how excited you would be to get another no before you get to that yes.
Exactly. And I can personally say that you're gonna hear a lot of no's, okay? But remember, sometimes the no's that you get are just because the triangle that I told you before, you're not matching the idea to the right person, okay? The more concrete you are gonna be, the more focused you are, you're more likely you're gonna get a yes, okay? So basically the purpose now, we have about 30 more minutes, 25 more minutes for this lecture. And I want basically to tell you and to show you some mistakes that I see on a daily basis, and I want to help you to eliminate them. And actually, I want you to try to guess why they are considered as a mistake, okay? So let me jump real fast to that slide. Stop share. All right. Can tell me if you can see. Just a second. Okay. Okay. So the model that I'm going to show you right now, this is a model that I'm living my life by. Okay. And I call it from a startup to McDonald's and from a McDonald's to a startup. Okay. And I'll explain you what it means. How many of you saw a McDonald's branch closing down? There is one. I saw one in Čačak, right? There was one there that closed down, and I know, and I checked it I personally checked it. It was because of a real estate deal. It was not because it was not going well. It was because of a real estate deal. How many of you saw supermarkets closing down? More or less?
More.
More, right? And how many of you saw startups or young companies closing down? More or less?
A lot more.
A lot more, right? So let's see who's smart. From showing you this, if we are normal people and smart people, what we should do right after this presentation?
Become McDonald's.
Become McDonald's or open a McDonald's. Milos, I see that you like it. So you and I are gonna open a McDonald's together. But only if you are gonna be the clown. I cannot. I'm too tall for that. I'm 6'4".
Franchise business.
You okay? You're gonna be this with this wig and this nose, and you know the kid's gonna run after you in the McDonald's brand. What do you think about that?
No problem. No problem.
No problem. I need someone to be on the cashier. David looks like a responsible person, so we're gonna put David on the cash machine, and Marco, you're gonna be on the French fries. I think you are good with the French fries machine. Good. You with us, Marco? You want other position?
Not really, but okay.
You don't like it? Oh, okay. So we're gonna give you another position.
Okay.
So, what do you want, Milos? Marco, any position you want in McDonald's, it's yours. You want to be on the cash machine?
Manager.
The manager. Okay.
Manager.
Done. David, I'm sorry. He's your manager from now. Every evening you're gonna bring him the cash machine. Okay. But let's put the joke aside for a moment and try to understand. Think about it for a moment. We have McDonald's, right? Which is a business that opens again and again and again in Israel, in Serbia, in US, and it doesn't close down. It's do well again and again and again, okay? And on the same time, we have startups or we have businesses, they're open and closing all the time. And if you think real deep into it, why is that? It's because they have a business knowledge. Sorry, say again, say.
They have a serious business system behind it.
Correct. Correct. But besides the serious business behind them,
brand,
they know what are the things that working everywhere, and they know how to adapt to local businesses and local markets. Again, this is when I'm traveling, this is one of my hobbies, to look for McDonald's local dishes. So in Tel Aviv, we have McFalafel, you have McCurry in India, but they know how to adapt. They know in one end, to paint the wall next to the cashier in yellow in order to increase the sales of French fries. They know to put the ugly clown in the beginning in order to convince kids to buy Happy Meals. But on the same time, they know how to adapt. And this is the problem when I meet businesses. Most of the people that I speak with, and I'm asking them, why did you decide to do that? Or why did you decide to do that? As they say, because nobody else is doing it. And this is a mistake. Sometimes for people, and especially for young people who doesn't have a lot of money, learning from mistakes of the others and just having small decisions and what I call the startup decision, okay, or small tweaks can help them and increase their chances to do well. Okay, so no, I'm not telling everyone now to go and open a McDonald's, but I'm saying is that remember that let's say that you have an idea to open a construction company in Serbia, okay? And your idea is to do X or Y, or to Christian had an idea to buy apartments in the US. The number one thing that you should do is you need to find the 10 people before you that actually failed, okay? And to learn from their mistakes. My advice and what I do in every startup that I invest, the number one thing that I do, I call and I Google or I LinkedIn some entrepreneurs that failed, okay? And speak with them. You're gonna be amazed, okay? I'm doing chutzpah as I showed you in the beginning. I'm not afraid. I'm asking them. And sometimes I bring some of them to be advisors, okay? I know that we are all very shy and afraid that somebody gonna copy us, but you're not gonna believe how many people willing to share with you a lot of their ideas, okay? So it doesn't matter if you open a manicure or a hair salon or a car wash, or you open a startup in technology in no matter what, with the quantum computing. The number one thing that you should do is after having your idea is to learn. And the more you learn from mistakes, the less likely you are to fail in the future. Because you're gonna do mistakes, but you can learn and you can decide that some of the decisions you make are the ones like McDonald's is doing. They know the things that are working for them. You don't need to invent and to do every decision in your business completely new. Okay, if you have a hair salon in Belgrade that is working in that street, and it's working because I don't know, the price is cheap. Okay, so it's okay that you open a new salon in 2 streets from there, but you don't need to replace completely if the business model. Okay, you don't need to find a way to wash the hair of your clients upside down from the ceiling and don't know where. Okay, sometimes having the same business model and just having 1 or 2 ideas that's gonna differentiate you is enough. Okay, you don't need again and again and more and more and more and more new things. Remember, every decision that you make, ask yourself at night, is it a McDonald's decision or a startup decision? Okay, so that's the number one thing that I suggest. Okay, the next thing is learn, okay, and try to almost just a second. Is try to map the business that you are working on. Remember the business model that I spoke before? Every time when I meet a startup, people come to me and say, we are the only business, we are $1 billion business. And I'm gonna give you an example from a company that I invested in. Okay, let's say that I come to you and say, you should, there is a business for second-hand watches. I don't know if you understand this market, but this is a business I invested in, okay? It's a huge business and there's a lot of money involved, but most of the people gonna come and say, oh, we have a huge market, and gonna come and say, oh, there are a lot of money involved. They're gonna read one article, let's say, and they're gonna come and say, oh, it's a $312 billion market, okay? And they're usually gonna build in this number a lot of things that are not really related to the business itself, okay? But because somebody told them or told you that you should show that there is a potential, right? Because you learned already that you need to show a potential in a business and you need to show that there is a lot of money involved. You're gonna run to show statistics, or you're gonna run to show something that is very superficial, okay? And in this company, they came to me and they say, oh, the luxury good market, okay, the second-hand luxury, the luxury good market is 300 billion. But you can see that the second-hand watches business, okay, their watches business is divided into $80 billion out of the luxury. And not only that, the pre-owned, the second-hand is only 40 out of the 80, okay? So now but the 40 maybe is not big enough for me as a VC, right? But in the moment they show me that, what comes into my mind? That maybe I should start with watches, and then I move to jewelries, and then I move to bags. It doesn't matter. But again, sometimes they start, it's enough to start in a small business and forget about the numbers that I'm showing you here, okay? It's only an example. Sometimes starting in a focused business, it's a car wash, or it's a concrete or construction, or it doesn't really matter, okay? Start with a small business. Christian wants to start with one apartment in Rochester, right? But maybe it's not enough for a VC to invest in his business. But if he shows them that he's gonna start here and gonna start here very low, and then he's gonna go up and up and up and gonna signal and show the growth strategy, then by doing that, it can bring a lot of people into the business, okay? A lot of investors into the business, okay? So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here on Q&A or touching it more, but what I want you to take from this is that the combination of what I told you in the beginning is what kind of investor that you are looking for, determined or being decided according to the nature of your business, okay? If your business is small, not enough, it's also it's not a bad thing or the end of the world. You should only signal, okay? So for example, if a car wash company in Serbia, in Čačak, gonna come to me as a VC, it's not interesting for me as a VC, okay? Maybe as Moshe as a personal investor, because as an angel. But if you're gonna come to me and say, I'm gonna start in Čačak, and from Čačak, I'm gonna move to Belgrade, and from Belgrade, I move to Montenegro, and from Montenegro, I'm gonna move to the rest of the Balkans, and you're gonna show the potential, suddenly you have a big business, okay? But if you're gonna go with an idea of conquering the Balkans to a business angel, who once he's returned in a year from now, you're gonna lose him. So you need to be very, very smart when you speak with investors and try to determine, okay, the story, and you need to determine what you are looking for according to the business idea, okay? We good so far? Okay, any questions so far? Brave people? Go ahead.
Everything's fine.
Okay, so we are fine there. And just a moment. Okay. Let me know if you can see my presentation. Can you see my slides?
I can see them right now.
Yeah, in a moment. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you see my screen now, right? Okay, so we have about 10 more minutes, and in order for me, I want to take this time, okay, and try to break it down a little bit more, okay? So I gave you a few examples of how to take a business, second-hand watches, and to show it sometimes as a big business that is okay for a VC, and also maybe to go with this business to a business angel, okay? But the main thing that you should have, besides that, is to have a plan, okay? Or to have what we call a deck or a proposal or very organized, okay? Or a very organized, well-presented plan, okay? And in order to do that, we call it the slide, we call it investment deck, okay? But it can be sometimes 2 slides, it can be 5, it can be 20. But when you're doing that, you have to understand that there are some big no-nos when you speak with investors that sometimes entrepreneurs it takes them years to understand. So in the next 5 slides, I'm going to show you some examples, and I want each one of you to try to guess what's wrong and what's bad in what I'm showing you, okay? So Bill Gates once said that it's okay that to decide what not to do is as important than the things that to deciding what to do, okay? And I want to show you some things that are actually damaging entrepreneurs because sometimes they're showing too much. Because maybe you learned in the university that you should do in a business plan X, Y, or Z, okay? And I'm going to show you, I call it the 5 levels mistake, okay? One of them is a competition, okay? Sometimes, think about it that you want to tell me about a business in Serbia, in Belgrade, okay? So you send me a plan, you send me a business plan. And by the way, you can see in our website presentation, if you want, in Aristagora, how to prepare a business plan, okay? I'm not gonna spend time now, okay? So sometimes because you know a business or you know a market too well, you assume that someone who sits from the other line or from the other side of the line knows this business the same as you, okay? I'm a VC, I'm an investor. I don't know anything, I don't know any business. I don't know a lot of businesses, but I learned them. But in order for you to get my attention, you need to make sure that you are not losing me with too many details, okay? In the website of Aristagora, aristagoravc.com, okay? So when you're showing a presentation or you're showing the number thing that you need to show is a competition, okay? Remember, don't put too many things that the person from the other line doesn't know, okay? Here in this slide, for example, I'm showing you an industry in the US, but you don't know 95% of those players. Sometimes it's too much, okay? Second mistake, and those are all slides from presentation that I saw, is similar to the mistake that I showed you before. The market is too big, okay? You take a market and you want to show, you take a McKinsey work or you read online and you want to show that you have a business, but instead of showing it breaking down, like I showed you before in the watches example, you just throw a number. And this is a company, they're doing online mortgages, but what they did, they put a number that their mortgages market is $31 trillion market. Doesn't really matter. Sometimes the fact that you show examples or you show numbers that are too big show me that you are not smart enough, that you are not actually focusing on the right data, okay? So that's the second mistake. Third, you can see it another way to see this mistake, okay? Again, numbers that are too big. When the number is too big, and especially for investors in Serbia, they're actually losing you. So you need to play in the range that makes sense for you, okay? Or makes sense for your industry and makes sense for your market, okay? The third mistake that I see all the time is that always when I speak with entrepreneurs, they always say that they are better than anyone else. Okay, let's take this example for a moment. It's a company that's doing a technology, but they call my store. But what's your conclusion from those slides? That they are better than Intel, Oracle, Adobe, Samsung, right? And all of those, right? How is it possible that the company that didn't raise money is doing much better than anyone else, right? If they're doing it, the way I look at it is maybe nobody wants to be here. Maybe this market is not good. How can you compete with Samsung and Intel and Oracle when it didn't raise money, okay? So again, try to be modest and try to look, okay? Don't tweak with the numbers. Say the truth. Say what you think. Say what are your competitors, okay? I call it simply the best one, okay? There's another way to show it. You always have this X and Y axes, and you show that, you know, the rest of the competition is here and the startup that's looking for money or the company looking for money is there. Again, they took Every one of the decision along the line is a startup decision, not a McDonald's decision. Okay, if they would have taken some McDonald's decision, they would have been here. And here is okay. Okay, I always said that the CEO of Coca-Cola is a billionaire, CEO of Pepsi-Cola is making good money, and also the CEO of a local company who's making Coke in Israel is also have a house with a swimming pool. Okay, not every decision should be crazy. You should not position yourself far away from others. The more you hear, the less likely you are to succeed. Okay, and it's in any business that you do. Okay. Again, another example. Those are all slides and ideas from presentations that I see every day. The competition in the market is here. What they decided to do is here. Okay, not good. Or a different way to show that, you know, features or what they do, list of full features that a lot of people, that others don't have, and only this young company who just started have those. Okay, say what are your weaknesses. When you speak with investor and you want to do a construction business, say that you have experience in X and you don't know why. Okay, and the last thing, don't lie. Okay, important, because that's the #1 thing that we are looking for, people that are not honest. See this slide? It's a slide of a company. They sent their idea a year ago, and look what the management, they're young, they didn't raise money, but look how many people they have. They have managers that did a lot of exits, and then I was so excited. I said, wow, what a team, they did so many exits. And I called this company to the office, and the CEO sat in front of me, and I said, okay, where are the rest of the people? And he said, no, they're not working for the company. If they're gonna raise money, maybe they're gonna come. He lied, okay? And in the moment that you find him on a lie, that's it, you lost me, okay? So again, try to be focused, okay? Don't lie, don't make business plans that are not realistic. Don't compare yourself to a very successful one, okay? Try to be very, very honest and try to look, just a moment, okay? And try, let's summarize. Okay. So if I need to summarize all the things that I told you, okay, in this presentation, okay, let's start from scratch. Remember the icebreaker. Icebreaker is like a Superman. Small things that you do gonna make people remember you. Okay, the name Aristagora. Okay, the beer example. Things, simple things that you do. Okay, the way you speak with, you know, break the ice with the person you meet. Then know your ecosystem. Know the person that you're speaking with. Know what kind of investor he is. VC, angel, what he's looking for, what the previous investor, do homework, okay? And then when you do that, try to eliminate mistakes. Don't do stupid mistakes like I showed you. Try to be modest and honest to show the things that you know, and it's okay not to know things, okay? I really appreciate when someone tells me I don't know something, okay? Remember that you have decisions that are McDonald's and you have decisions that are startup, okay? And then once you do that, look for the magic. Don't waste time, okay? You have an idea, create a business plan. Once you create this business plan, try to focus on what the people that are relevant for your idea, advise them, learn from them, and move forward. Don't sit in the room by yourself for 10 years and come in 10 years from now, okay? Go out. Don't be afraid to approach me. Don't be afraid to put, you know, the technology park in Čačak, it did an introduction to you, okay? They introduced me, that park is there. They are experienced people. They have people that maybe can help you. And it doesn't matter if you're technology or not, okay? All the presentation that I did here today for you guys is maybe sometimes similar and related to technology, but the base and the ballpark of what I told you is relevant to any business that existed out there. Okay, don't be shy, don't be afraid, and I promise you that you can do amazing business in Serbia. Okay, you don't need to go away from the country. You can do it locally. I know that you look at me and you don't believe. The next time I'm in Serbia, or when I'm gonna be in Čačak, I'm gonna show you real examples, and I'm not gonna care, and I'm gonna take each one of you and his idea, and I'm gonna show you how you can make money and you can do well locally. Okay, maybe it's harder, maybe it's not as fun as flying to Germany and do it from Germany, right? But you know your market better than anyone else. You know that you have the contacts, you have the trust. You don't need to conquer the world. Before you conquer the world, build a business that you know how you're gonna do well, and then you're gonna take it from there. Okay, and I'm here for any assistance, anything that I can help you with, feel free. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Please accept me on
guys.
LinkedIn. Thank you.
Sure. Peter is asking, which cities will you visit in Serbia? Any cities that I think that are relevant for young entrepreneurs, and any cities that we think that I can or invest in, or I can suggest and propose a relationship to one of the companies we invested in. Okay, the main reason was when I came to Serbia was actually I was looking for assistance to some of the companies we invested in. Once I've been there, I actually realized that it's pretty similar to Israel, and it's really easy to do business in Serbia, and that's what they did. Okay. Any other questions?
If you're thinking about going to niche, you just hit me up. All right. I think I sent you an invitation note on LinkedIn, so like we can be in touch.
I'm also Finnish, and it will be honored to buy you a beer.
Done, guys. I drink beer, not that much. I told you, but I'll be more than happy. But again, we have a few more minutes. I want you guys, now that we are good friends, okay, and now that you saw that I'm not as frightening as you thought, and I'm down to earth, that's the time for you guys to ask some questions. Okay, don't be shy. If you have things that you feel that you want to know and you think that I can help you, go ahead, ask.
When it's about investing money in some business, how you decide which business is the one you should invest in?
Okay, so I'm going to answer in two ways. Sometimes I invest as Moshe, and sometimes I invest as a VC. Okay.
All right.
When I invest as a VC, the things is that my main goal is the first slide that I told you, my business plan, right? I need to pay my investors 3 times in 10 years. When I'm looking on a business, I see if this business can be 100 times more. Why? Because you remember the statistics.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. The only thing that I'm looking, and we call it's a secret in the industry, okay? We look for lottery tickets, okay? The only thing that I'm looking at, and I can tell you a secret, I don't always read all the slides till the last one, okay? When I meet someone, I look on his energy. I look the way he speaks. Because whatever you know today, it's not what you're gonna know in a year from now. So I don't expect you to know everything, but I'm looking on a person and I see, is this guy gonna have a company, $1 billion company? If the answer, does he convince me? Because a lot of things, personality, business, and da. If he doesn't, it's not fit for a VC. But as an angel investor, I'm very conservative, okay? I invest in real estate, I invest in businesses for example, there is a big building around the Danube in Belgrade. Now they built there are a lot of projects there that, they destroy one of the parks and they built real estate there, right? So the way I looked at it, I came in and say, what's the price? What's our feel that they're going to be increasing prices, yes or no, over time? And now what's the return? Okay, as a personal investor, I look for small return, 3-4% annually. Okay, not more. If it's more than that, it's considered as a risky business for a personal investor. Okay.
All right. And regarding to your investments, for example, if you invest, I don't know, does amount is related to quantity the shares you want in the company?
Okay, so it's a good question. I'm an early stage investor. I'm an early stage VC. So usually we are one of the first investors, pretty much. And I can show you a slide, okay, about the life cycle. Just a second. Usually we are the first we call it institutional money in a company, okay, which means that besides bringing money, you know, the friend and family money that usually comes in relatively in the beginning, we are the next money after that. Okay, so here I'm going to show you. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, this is what we call the life cycle of a startup. Okay, the first money usually comes from a friend and family. Okay, your personal money, then usually angel investors, then early stage, and then growth. And the more, you know, the more you go up, is the less riskier the startup. So I usually invest here in those stages. Okay, in the beginning, sometimes I go less. Okay, so I'm not afraid to invest in the beginning. I'm not afraid to invest in people with ideas, but in order for us to invest in idea, we want to make sure that they know the rest of the business, or they did their homework.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Sure. Anything else?
Can we get your contact?
Sure. You can, first of all, you can log anyone that has a company or is gonna have a company one day. You can always come to the website of Aristagora, my VC, and you can apply there. We're gonna share the information of I don't mind to share the information. You can share, David, Philip, you can share my email. Feel free, or you can send also to info@aristagoravc.com.
One more question I have.
And again, sorry, just one more thing. Let's say now that I would not tell you my contact. What you should do, go to LinkedIn, run after me, send out, you know, that the embassy of Israel arranged this call. Write Daniela an email. Okay, you can find the embassy email online and write them. Again, don't be afraid. If this is something that is important for you, you should run after it. And it doesn't really matter if someone lets you or doesn't let you. Okay, not everyone's gonna be as friendly as I am. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I wanted to ask you one more thing. When it's come to that paperology stuff, when you do the investment, for example, if someone want to demands for you to sign the NWA, are you willing to sign the NWA for things?
You mean NDA, non-disclosure?
NDA, yeah. NDA.
Okay. Because of NDA, basically, what it means that I'm gonna say that I'm gonna sign to a startup that I'm not gonna invest or not gonna copy his ideas and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get involved in this industry. The problem is that I'm a professional investor. I see about 1,000 startups a year. Just think that I would sign NDA for those 1,000 startups. What it means that I won't be able to invest in any company in my lifetime. So as an institutional investor, well, I don't sign on NDA, and whoever feels that if he tells me something that is dangerous for his venture, I tell them, don't tell me. I don't want to know. And the reasoning behind it, if you think that your business can be copied that easily and that fast, you should run faster than the rest of the competition. You cannot be afraid all the time from doing business.
All right. Yeah, sure.
I have a question.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. What do you think about crowdfunding versus normal investment?
Again, it depends on the project. Okay, there are good platforms around the world, and there are very bad platforms around the world. Okay, it depends if what you're looking for, the type of business. But for me, I'm kind of indifferent. It depends. But the main question that I'm asking companies that being in crowdfunding is that the question that's always being asked is why you go to crowdfunding. Did you have any failure in past? Why other people did not want to invest in you? Why professional investor did not want to invest in you? So you need to have a good answer for that.
So you go to professionals first, and then if you fail there, you...
That's what most people do. They go to professional, and then if they fail, they go to crowdfunding. So depends, okay? But on the same time, for example, and I'm going to show you something. Actually, it's a very fun company, and beauty. That's one of our last investments. Okay, this is the company. You can see my screen, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay, share screen. Perfect. Okay. This is a company called Nimble. Okay. Nimble is a machine that doing nails. That is doing nails. It's a machine. You always think why it doesn't make sense. Okay, it's a multi-billion-dollar market, and this company gonna get sold to Canon or one of those big corporates in Japan. But we invested in this company. The company got an investment of $10 million. And then what they did, in order to test, the machine is going to be ready only in September. But in order to start selling and in order to do a beta test, what they did, they actually created a campaign in Kickstarter. Okay. And they started it a month ago. And look how much money they managed to raise up to now. $1.5 million in less than a month. Okay, so here you can see a combination of investment and crowdfunding in the same time. Okay, and you can see articles. This company raised $10 million, not only from us. So they took money from investors and then they leverage it and try to use crowdfunding as a magnitude their performance.
They use the crowdfunding as a source of validation.
It is. But think if they would have failed, it's a big risk. Okay, so they've done it only after they had a lot of money to go into this platform and to do it right. And they went to Kickstarter, which is considered the best one in the market.
I was exceptionally intrigued when you said you were going to visit Serbia next time, whenever it is going to be. Do you know the exact date or not? That's the first question. The second one is, we are like young, really young, an IT company, and when you said you will visit the cities in Serbia where you find that they are interesting to you, and you are going to connect some businesses to the ones that you invested in or something, that was the part that intrigued me the most currently. So hopefully we will have any possibilities to work in the future. So thank you so much for this, and hopefully we will stay in touch.
Sure. First of all, thank you. We're definitely gonna stay in touch, and I can tell you that I know some of the entrepreneurs I met years ago. I'm in Serbia. I'm in touch with, and yes, we do. I don't know the dates when I'm gonna come. Changes all the time with COVID. Who knows? But what I can tell you that I always look to do and connect and to do well. But you need to prepare it, right? So if you have businesses, company, and IT, and you need a connection for startup, don't tell me, hey, just connect me. You need to send a professional one-pager, present what you are doing, okay? And try to utilize the contact. right? If you
Of
send me
course,
10 emails every
of
day,
course.
then probably I'm not going to answer all those 10s every day. But if you're going to use it wisely and you're going to use those contacts, you need to, I always say that you need to ping your contacts only when you're ready and when it's the right time. Okay.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. Yeah, the full business proposal will be definitely ready and everything. This is just first time meeting you, so just heads up. Thank you.
sure.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Sure. You're welcome. All right, guys. We good?
Yeah, we're great.
Dusan, why you were hiding all the time? We were missing you.
Sorry. I literally forgot at the last minute that this was supposed to be on, and I went for a jog and then to the gym and everything, and I just ate and showered, and I'm back, and I actually was listening the whole time because of the headphones and the speaker and everything. It was great. Thanks for the info.
Who believes Dusan to what he said? Who believes what he just said?
45% maybe.
45, 48 maybe.
Yeah, or 30 if it's a VC. I mean, okay.
I'm kidding.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, I'm sorry that I couldn't participate.
All good. No, nothing to sorry about. All good.
And of course, I sent you a LinkedIn connection request.
Sure. Gonna be approved.
Great. Well, it was great. And I hope I'll see you again sometime. And everybody else that was in the Zoom call.
Peter, oh, you brought a guest. Why you turn off? You brought a guest. Peter brought his kid. You see, this is a good entrepreneurship. Start from young age. Nice.
The youngest.
Hello.
Okay, guys. So, David, Philip, are we all good?
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed it, and I can't believe it's already over. It really went so fast for me. I would like to use these closing regards to invite everyone, as you rightfully did, to come to STP Čačak for any help they need. It doesn't have to be like full package. It can be just part support. It can, of course, be full package. Feel free to write on email to us if you're not from Čačak. We are glad to help. We are glad to establish connections with everyone, not just Čačak and its surroundings. I would also like to use this this chance we got since Daniela wasn't here at the start. I would like to thank her personally, because she was the one who was in contact with us and who connected you with us. So thank you, Daniela. Once again, thanks to the Embassy of Israel. Of course, thanks to you, Moshe, for this wonderful workshop, the dialogue we had, more than a workshop, and I can't wait to see you when you come to Serbia, and we are going to take you to homemade rakia.
Nice.
Not here.
David, actually, you know what? I have a better idea. When Daniela is here, everyone that was with his picture out, with his camera on, you should all go to Daniela. She's going to organize a trip to all of you to Israel. So,
Woo! It would be nice.
yeah. All right. So we just organized a trip from everyone who goes to STP Čačak to Israel once they open the sky, by the generosity of the Embassy of Israel.
Yeah. First
Let's
of all,
who likes this idea? Dan, you see, you can participate if you want.
yeah.
Great.
I would like to thank you all, especially Moshe, because he's always so friendly and takes part at any embassy's initiative. This is the first time that we are cooperating with STP Čačak, and definitely I think it's not going to be the last time. As you know, Moshe is part of this Raising Stars program, and as part of it, he will anyhow come to Čačak eventually and spend more time with startups that are part of this program. But definitely, I would also use the opportunity to invite your teams or your tenants to take part at Hackathon in Kragujevac that we are organizing. We were supposed to organize it next week, but unfortunately, due to all these misfortunate developments in Israel, we were forced to postpone it. So it will happen on the 10th of June. Any team that is interested in urban mobility is free to join. There's a nice reward, and there will be some services provided by the city of Kragujevac, like, I don't know, free tickets for the swimming pool, for the buses, etc., and money prize from the embassy, $500. Yeah. So any team that might be interested in it, either from the university, I mean, from the Faculty of Technical Sciences, or any team within the park is free to join. I will tomorrow send you just a Google form that anyone who's interested can just fill in and apply.
Can you be from niche to apply to that opportunity?
Well, niche, no, but look, we intend to do something with niche. This is something that we are doing now with Kragujevac. Actually, due to COVID, this was postponed from 2020, and unfortunately now it's also moved for the 10th of June. So I do hope that we will do something similar or even bigger with niche. Because, you know, I see and I know that, you know, we visited the STP niche. There are already 2 Israeli IT companies working there. I mean, they have teams and office, various than V-Tool. So definitely, I mean, I see a lot of potential in niche, and I see it, you know, as a really strong IT center in the country. But okay, now this is just an opportunity for Kragujevac, and since the Faculty of Technical Sciences is actually in Čačak, is part of the University of Kragujevac, basically they are eligible to apply.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Daniela. I think this would be an amazing conclusion to today's workshop, let's call it like that, but it was more than that. Thanks to everyone for coming. Thank you for your attention and participation. Follow us on social media. We will have more amazing opportunities in the future. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, and bye, everyone.
Goodbye, and thank you.